Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
It is my duty to fight for the kingdom, to protect my family. I will bring honor to us all.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Adolf, and today I'm reviewing the 2020 Mulan live-action remake by Disney. As always, I'll talk about the 3D aspect first. Unfortunately, I was not able to watch Mulan 2020 in 3D because I watched it via Disney Plus, and Disney Plus does not give me the option to watch movies on 3D. That being said, the trailers I did watch for it looked great. I can't watch it, so I can't really talk about it. You know, depending where you live in the world, you may actually have an opportunity to watch in 3D, but that's not the case for me in the United States. So hopefully one day Disney will release this as a 3D Blu-ray that 3D fans can enjoy and watch at home, but you may be lucky and get to see it in theaters in 3D, but I'm not sure if that's really going to be the case for most people around the world. So my final verdict is, simply put, no 3D available. Now, before I get to the movie, I gotta do an editor's note. I have to talk about the absolutely convoluted, crazy, cocky-made way that Disney has made to watch this movie. First off, you have to be a member of Disney Plus, which is $7 a month, which I already am. Plus, on top of that, you need to also rent/own this movie for $30. Finally, you can only watch this via Disney Plus. This is a monopolistic racket that Scrooge McDuck would be proud of. In total, before taxes, it's going to cost you about $37 to watch this movie at home. And that's a really high asking cost for anyone. I guess if you have a family of 4, then that's not too bad. It's cheaper than to go to the theaters. But if you're just 1 or 2 people, it's really high price. It's just like a paying ransom at this point. And the worst part of this is that there's no like special features. There's no, there's no deleted scenes. There's no behind the scenes features. There's no commentary tracks. The only thing they give you is music videos and trailers. Come on, Disney, you're better than this. If I'm going to pay to own this, I want to have these features. It basically is the same cost as buying a Blu-ray, so why not just go ahead and give me the Blu-ray options? Make it better bang for my buck. Or you could just wait and watch this in December, because that's when it's coming out digitally via Disney Plus, and you don't have to pay this $30 ransom. It's very frustrating. I feel like it's price gouging, and I understand we're in a pandemic and they don't feel comfortable putting it out in the theaters, but other studios have been able to do digital releases like this, and it's cheaper, about $20 or $25 to buy it, and then you get special features. And here you get no real special features, and I mean, you get to watch it in 4K, so that's cool, but still. Now, this is, just kind of an aside. This is not going to impact my enjoyment of the movie. So you can call me unprofessional for having this little rant, but I feel like this had to be said. I just need to vent out this frustration I have at Disney, because I think this is not a good way to do the future of movies, because it's too much. It's too much for what it is. I understand renting it for $20, and then if you want to keep it, all right, cool, $30, but then you get special features. All right, that's fair enough. But no, they didn't do that. They're doing everything the most greedy way possible. All right, so that's going to end my rant. Now, on to the movie itself. So, Mulan 2020 is yet another live-action remake from Disney. This isn't the first live-action Mulan movie, and it probably won't be the last. Mulan is not, it's well known to be like a Disney princess, but it's more like a folktale, or I don't know what the best way to describe it is in Asian markets. I guess it's kind of like in America we have just like Johnny Appleseed or something like that, where it's a folk hero. It's not really, I think it's based on a real person, but I'm not 100% sure. But no one owns the rights to this. The story of Mulan is not trademarked that I know of or copyrighted. Anyway, Mulan is a story of a young Asian woman who fights for her family from an invading force. Mulan is not supposed to be a warrior because she's a woman, and during this time, women were not allowed to be warriors. Mulan must pretend to be a man to enter the military to help her defend her homeland and her family. Magic is a major element of this story. There's a witch, there's a villain, and Qi is a very important aspect of this story. Musical numbers and city sidekicks are not a part of this movie. Will Mulan be found out? Can she help stop the invading force? Well, you got to watch the movie to find out. First thing I gotta say about this movie is that I think it's beautiful. It's the sets, the costumes, the locations, all a feast for the eyes. Cinematography is well done and excellent, and it just has its own style that I really like. I rarely doubted the special effects when I watched this movie. The visuals are cool, are interesting, and it just, the magical element does make for some interesting action moments. I cannot deny how pretty this movie is. That's first thing. Second thing, unfortunately, I just didn't love this movie. I found it to be boring. I'm sorry. This is just a slow burn, and it takes a while for the movie to find itself. The action scenes are subdued, and I have very little blood. I understand. It's a Disney movie. It's, I guess, meant for kids, but it really feels wrong to not have more blood in this movie. It just feels too sanitized. It made it difficult for me to care. Like, yeah, I guess they're dead, but it doesn't have any kind of weight to it. Look, I don't need this to be like Hacksaw Ridge or Kill Bill Volume 1 kind of gory. I get you don't need that, and I don't need that. But it just kind of loses some of the stakes because of the lack of any blood and gore. I think they could have had it and been tasteful and still kept the PG-13. And, you know, it's supposed to be kind of a war movie, so you kind of need it. I was also bored because the acting is just mediocre. The characters and the dialogue are just kind of wooden and one-dimensional. There's only one character I really liked. That was Hai Zhao, played by Tiz Ma. And that's the character of Mulan's father. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I think he does a great job as being the father. Everyone else is pretty basic, pretty one note, and the movie doesn't have that many jokes or levity to kind of break things up. You know, they have some character moments here and there. I give it that, but I feel like it was too far and few between. The dialogue just feels pathetic, and it just feels like everyone's phoning it in. I guess you could say it feels like a bad dub. Maybe if you see the original Chinese version or something, it's gonna have great voice actors. I know a lot of. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't connect with me. I don't understand why. It just didn't resonate. Another thing that didn't resonate with me is the appearance of Mulan herself. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to bash her and say, you know, I just kind of feel like the main actress that played Mulan, which is Liu Yifi, is too pretty to be Mulan. Mulan's a gorgeous woman, and I find it completely impossible and improbable to believe that anyone could mistake her for being male. I don't care if her hair is up, or she just is too pretty for this role. The whole point of this movie is that look how brave she is, you know, first woman soldier, and I don't believe anyone would fall for it. I'm sorry. She's this beautiful woman, gorgeous woman. But to believe that she's a male, no, I'm sorry. They could have done more. They did some things like make her macho and pick fights with other people, and then they made her have some dirt on her face. But that doesn't make her more masculine looking. It makes her look dirty. And it just didn't do enough to justify her looking male. They could have had other, baby-faced guys in the main cast and say, well, this guy's a macho man and this guy has a beard and this guy doesn't have one and he has a baby face and he looks really young. And, you could kind of do that. This is one thing in the cartoon that at least I give them credit for, that she cut her hair off in the cartoon. She doesn't do that here. She just puts it up in a bun. And I just could not suspend my disbelief and accept this as a core aspect of this movie. So, look, Mulan 2020 is a fine film in some regards. I just overall found it lacking. It lacks stakes, it lacks gravitas, it lacks enjoyable characters. I was bored with half of this movie. Some of the action scenes are cool. I'll give it that. The magic is kind of neat. I'm kind of feel like the magic aspect kind of robs some of the intrigue of what's going on screen. If it's just magic, then it's not as powerful. I think this could have been a much more powerful movie, and it has a style. It has a cool style. It's pretty, but it just lacks so many important quality filmmaking aspects I can't ignore. Movie ends well. I'll give it credit for a good final act. Very good. But I just feel like it's just disappointing and lackluster overall. So what do I give it? A final score? A 6 out of 10. Look, it's entertaining. It's not... I was okay enough entertained that I didn't fall asleep. The main story beats are okay enough. It just... Everything is so bland and boring, and it just feels like they're phoning it in. And they did try to make this different from the animated movie. I'm not going to really compare and contrast it. I just kind of feel like they did things that are different, but I don't know if it's better or worse. Just different. Meh. I like it, don't love it. That's it for me. Bye.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano3D and Mr. Bengal 5 for your financial support on patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.